Welcome back to my channel. That's my new intro. I call it the speed bag. I don't know if it's gonna stick or not, but I'm doing an AC/DC ranking today. I'm gonna include all the albums, 16 albums. I'm doing international releases, and I'm going to include Power Up somewhere in the middle. Now this is a band that is going to be hard to rank because all of the albums are good. I really struggled trying to find the album to put at the end, but I'll get to that in a few seconds or so. AC/DC doesn't have any bad albums. They're kind of like ranking Led Zeppelin. Everybody's list is going to be very different. We're going to see a lot of variation. And with that being said, let's get into it. Coming in at number 16 is Rock or Bust. This is from 2014. A lot of people have this at the end, and it's not a bad album. I think it's just their weakest overall. For me, the two lead singles weren't that great and weren't that memorable, but I really liked some of the deeper cuts. For example, Baptism by Fire has a really good riff on that one. Emission Control, another it was a strong song, really good riff. And Dogs of War. So that's what I recommend of that album. Coming in at number 15 is Ball Breaker. This is from 1995. Again, it's a good album. It just might be a little of the weaker albums in their catalog. Hard as a Rock, it's a good song. Cover You in Oil, those are the lead singles. And another lead single is Hail Caesar. I feel those are probably the strongest tracks. The other songs on the album might be a little bit weaker. Coming in at number 14 is Black Ice from 2008. I thought this might be a little higher. I liked it a lot, but after listening to their entire catalog over the last few weeks, I think this one just wasn't as strong as the others. Rock and Roll Train, that's a really good song. Big Jack, and the track War Machine. I really like the sound and the riff on that one. And coming in at number 13 is Blow Up Your Video. When I first thought about doing this ranking, I was inclined to put it all the way at the bottom, but I gave it another listen. I really like Heat Seeker. That's a really good song, and it's kind of underrated. Like, I haven't heard it in a while. That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll. It's another strong song. And a good deep cut off this album is Two's Up. Coming in at number 12, Stiff Upper Lip. This is a very bluesy, riff-heavy album. I really like it a lot. Again, I didn't want to rank it so low, but again, the other ones are a lot better. Safe in New York City is one of my favorite tracks of all time. Also on Stiff Upper Lip, you have the title track, which is a good song, and House of Jazz. That's really a cool, deep track to check out. Coming in at number 11 is Flick of the Switch. This is from 1983, and this is a fan favorite. I didn't want to rank it so low, but again, the other albums are a lot stronger, for me, in my opinion. Probably other people might put this a little higher. My favorite track is the title track. Nervous Shakedown is a great song, and Guns for Hire. This is a Raw album. I have a full review on it. You can find it on my channel. Coming in at number 10 is Fly on the Wall. This was an album, I thought I was going to rank it lower, if not at the bottom, but giving it another listen, it was a lot better than I remember. I like the song Shake Your Foundations, Sing to Pink, probably one of my top AC/DC songs of all time. And the song Danger, it's a little bit of an 80s song, but I like it a lot. Coming in at number 9 is The Razor's Edge. This is from 1990. Now this album has Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck is the last great AC/DC song. And I say that meaning it's like in the ranking of a song like Back in Black or Highway to Hell. Otherwise, it's a strong album. It has the song Money Talks, which, if I remember correctly, I think that was a lead single, and that probably charted higher than Thunderstruck in the beginning. I have to look that up. Another song, Mistress for Christmas. We all know who that's about. No need to explain. Coming in at number 8 is Power Up, the new album. I might have ranked it higher because I'm excited about it being new, but you can see my review on it. I won't spend too much time on this, but it is a solid album, and give it a listen if you haven't yet. Coming in at number 7 is Powerage. This is from the Bon Scott era. All of the albums from that era are great. They're really solid albums. This is probably one of the most underrated ones. It has some really good tracks: Rock and Roll Damnation, Down Payment Blues, and Riff Raff. I really like the sound on that, the guitar sound. It's very unique. Many musicians note this as their favorite AC/DC album of all time. You can see my full review of it on my channel. And coming in at number 6 is For Those About to Rock. This was the follow-up to Back in Black. I recently listened to this and I wasn't sure where I was going to rank it. I thought it might have been a little lower, but I liked it a lot. It might be nostalgic for me, but all the songs were solid. The title track, it's a classic song. I mean, what kind of song other than, what is that, the 1812 Overture, to have cannons in it? I mean, that's such a great song. I Put Your Finger on You, it's another track. And Let's Get It Up. Solid track, solid album. Coming at number 5 is High Voltage. This is the first international release by AC/DC. We have A Long Way to the Top. That's a classic song. You might remember it from the School of Rock movie. TNT, that's another classic song that's been covered a lot. And a deep cut called Rock and Roll Singer. It's a really good track. Check that out if you haven't heard it in a while. Coming in at number 4, Let There Be Rock. On this one you have the track Overdose. This was covered later by the band Exodus. You have A Whole Lot of Rosie, and this was covered by Guns N' Roses. And the rest of them are all classics. Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be is another notable track. Okay, now we're down to our top 3. And as you can see, I have magically transported myself to the other side of the room. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 3 is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I've talked about this album before. There are 2 different versions. So I'm talking about the international version, which kind of lacked a few songs. Like the original version had Jailbreak. This one doesn't have it. There are a few songs that were on the original release. You could check out Peter's channel on the Lizard King channel. He just did a ranking of the Australian releases. But this is a solid album throughout. It has a nice heavy sound. And it also includes the song Ride On. This is a ballad. AC/DC never did a lot of ballads. Ride On, it's a classic song, slower tempo, and it's often considered one of their best. Coming in at number 2 is Highway to Hell. Now at this point, you know, it was either one or the other, and Highway to Hell, it's a solid album throughout. The last album with Bon Scott. The title track, Highway to Hell, it's one of the greatest songs of AC/DC. Touch Too Much, that's another really good song. It doesn't get a lot of recognition as the other ones, but probably one of their best songs. And Highway to Hell also includes Night Prowler. That's a slow bluesy song. And coming in at number 1, I have Back in Black. I guess this album is very nostalgic for me. I can listen to the entire album throughout without skipping. I probably can recite all the lyrics. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of being in college and listening to it on the jukebox at the bar. This album has a lot of meaning for me. It reminds me of when I first started learning guitar, just learning those riffs. Back in Black, Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. So this album has a lot of meaning for me. That's why I put it at number 1. We'll to end there. I guess this video wasn't that long. I try not to spend too much time on this video because I did full reviews on my channel, and I will probably continue to do a few more full reviews. I'm going to be doing some new releases over the weekend. I think Kill or Be Killed is coming out this weekend. And I think Dark Tranquillity is coming out this weekend. I usually get those out on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I might be able to squeeze another video out in the interim and after that. So I'm looking for ideas. So please comment below if there's anything you want me to review. Let me know. And please like and subscribe. I do rock and metal reviews. I do rankings, top 10s. So please, if you're new to this channel, check out my other videos. And until then, I will see you soon.